Hello and welcome. My name is Jeffrey Labovitz. I'm the Chief of Mission of the International Organization for Migration, the United Nations Migration Agency. And I'm here with our elder statesman in Indonesia, Ibu Lia Natalagawa, who has been heading our partnership for many, many years. And for our inaugural podcast, I thought it'd be nice to listen and talk to her and ask her about her career and her feelings. And we'll just have an informal conversation for about 10-15 minutes.
Sure. Thank you.
Ibu Lia, let me ask you the first question.
Okay.
How long have you been in the United Nations system, and why did it interest you? Why would you want to join the United Nations?
I could say it's been over 20 years, almost 25 years. I think one of the main reason why I decided to want to join is because I see there was something different to the kind of life we actually knew at the time, that there was this other humanitarian dimension to it that interested me a lot at the time.
So you've worked in this office and also with the refugee agency
Yes.
for over 25 years. In that period of time, was there one event, one situation which was phenomenal compared to others that you recall?
Yes. At the time I was already working here with IOM. I think it was in 2015, related to the Benjina, modern slavery they call it. I get to do what I had always wanted, to be there on the actual location, trying to provide assistance and contributed to trying to help the people who were very vulnerable and in need. That was a very special time.
So I know a little bit about that. I was chief of mission at that time in Thailand. And so we heard about these stories of fisher boats in Indonesian waters,
Yeah.
and that they had fishermen who were, I guess, forced to work on those boats. They were victims of slavery, is what was considered. And then they found an island where people had been sitting for decades. What was kind of the story?
We were told much earlier by media who wanted to expose the actual situation in Benjina Island in the Malukus, but had given us an advance warning that prior to this getting out publicly into the open, if we wanted to assist and get them out with the government. So we went at it, approached the government to see if we can go there together. But the story is that there were a lot of fishermen who were not only Indonesian nationals, they were nationals of the various countries in the region, and had worked on the boat, joined the boat without knowing what was to come. Some of them had been on the boat for almost 25 years, 30 years without having gone home, and was actually afraid and crying when we were trying to help them to repatriate. And when we asked why, he said, I don't even know if my family is still at the same address. I haven't been home for 25 years. And he wanted to possibly remain in Maluku because he didn't know what he would face when he returned.
He was taken as a child to be a fisherman,
Yes.
and he didn't know any other life.
No, he was 14 when he joined the ship as a fisherman, and he was over 35.
But I think most of the people were so relieved to go home.
Yes, of course, yes.
And in fact, there was a jail on this small island, and many people who, for whatever reason, were being disciplined
Yes.
had spent long periods of time in jails.
Yes. The jail was very small. I can imagine how they were cramped I understood also that some of them were electrocuted. They need to remain awake for 24 hours, sort of back-to-back work. They shouldn't fall asleep, and some were taken to that jail for a long time.
This was a major event, and the Associated Press ended up winning a Pulitzer Prize
I'm not surprised.
for exposing this whole situation, but IOM was on the forefront of providing assistance.
Yes, we actually
individuals.
reported that. IOM reported that to the government through the police at the local sub-district of Benjina on the sun.
And how many people in the end went home? Do you know? Several hundred?
Yes. Obviously, different countries came and looked after some of their nationals, but IOM sent home the majority.
And you were one of the first people on the island who saw the
Yes.
people.
Yes.
Did they
yes.
realize that they were going to go home, or were they scared? What was their feeling?
Not in the beginning. I think actually we were also quite scared going onto the island, and we have heard stories that we shouldn't stay until the dark, that we shouldn't be drinking any drink or food that were sort of served to us. So you bring your own, but we try to get back to the main island as soon as the day ends before sunset.
Now, Leo, one of the things you've been working on from the onset with IOM is partnership
Yes.
and government liaison, and
Yes.
us working together and engaging.
Yes.
How important has that been for work from Benjina? But even recently, there was the return of nearly 500 victims of trafficking from a
Yes, correct.
scam center
Yes, correct, yeah.
in Myanmar, actually.
Mhm.
So how do you see the development of relationship with government ownership in your job?
I feel that we have expanded in our network with the government, meaning from the smaller scale of the traditional partners, whether it's immigration, the police, we have expanded in our network. Obviously, MOFA has been our main sort of partner, but beyond that, we have worked now with various ministries related to labor migration, Indonesian labor, which is a priority also for the government. We're very much involved in that, and we're very happy to know that government would always, come and request IOM for engagement in labor migration related issues. I'm sure because we have a lot of expertise, and I think we should share this knowledge with the government, and I am quite sure that IOM is one of the most, trustworthy partner of the, IOM is the partner of the government, yeah.
And that's a lot because of the liaison and the work you've been doing. It struck me when we visited the victims of trafficking returning home from Myanmar. The flight was chartered by the government,
yes.
the MFA with others.
Yes.
Other parts of government had negotiated the release of Indonesian citizens. It was really a government-led exercise.
Yes.
And if you compare that to Benjina from 12, 15 years before, we had a little small role, and it's about capacity building and
Yes.
handing over and working with partners.
Yes.
And that's something which I think you've been a part of for all these years.
Yes. I think 15 years ago, we were very much focusing on giving capacity building about identification of victims of trafficking. I mean, it's still ongoing until now because obviously it has changed in its way of, how the trend is very different to what was before and now. The scamming through social media, etc. But I still believe that we can do a lot with the government, and I'm sure that we will do so in the future.
I have one last question for you, Leah. You're very passionate about your work. And after 25 years, how did you maintain that level of interest?
In the past, I think it was in the 80s. I was abroad. I have a lot of international friends from maybe privileged families, and suddenly some of them I saw a great change. Why? Because of conflict in their countries. They used to travel easily, etc. And so all of a sudden, overnight, my friends were Iranian. You know, the Iraq-Iranian war or conflict that changed their life, that changed how travel was at the time. And I felt their fear of wanting to go home and not being able to go home and being sort of in limbo in another country with some of their families at home. That really opened my eyes. I was exposed all of a sudden to understand that there is another side of so-called migration. It's not always all, bed of roses. There is that part where we should really be trying to assist or be part of, to contribute and give. If you ask me, if I were to be reborn again, I would choose the same job, you see, but maybe earlier, so I could spend more time than what I have now.
Well, you've made a difference, and it's people like you that do.
Thank you.
Thank you for talking with me in this initial conversation in a corner.
Thank you very much, Dale. Bye.